And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. Man, when I take a week off and I come back, it's like I feel like I'm relearning everything. Yes. And I don't know like what I'm doing.
Because we are live.
Yes, because we are live. We had a recorded show last weekend. Bob and I were in Shreveport, Bossier doing a taco documentary.
Amazing.
Which was super fun. And if you followed me along on Instagram, you saw all of those delicious tacos.
Torturous Instagram.
Right. So in about a month, we're going to be doing a show about that trip. Like we did some interviews on it, and then you and I are going to kind of recap it a little bit. But what we can say is that the Jack Binion Steakhouse and Horseshoe Casino in Shreveport, Bossier was the best steak of my life.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah, it was pretty delicious. Horseshoe was kind enough to put us up for the trip. Mm-hmm. Man, even the room, like that was like a party tub.
That was the biggest hotel room I've been in.
That was as big as my apartment. We're just sad, but it's so true.
Yeah,
it was it was amazing. I just did I started writing again, so if you guys follow me on social media, I just did an updated blog post called Romantic Getaways Shreveport Bossier, where we talk about non-taco stuff, because we're still going through all of that footage for the trip. But we do have a name for the documentary. It's called The Superior Taco.
Yeah. Because
what I went in being the theme of this trip was not how it ended, because we realized how important Superior Grill was to the taco scene in Shreveport, Bossier.
Exactly.
And it also gave me a new perspective on giant Tex-Mex chain restaurants that are pretty much like La Fonda. We'll just go ahead and say it. Like La Fonda, where it's all about drinking, and Lafayette goes to be seen. The food isn't that great, but the drinks are good. There is a purpose to them, because there's somebody that could be working in that kitchen that is learning and will then go and open a really great taqueria.
And that's what we discovered with Superior, that it's kind of just an incubator for chefs.
Right. So, so that's why we're calling it Superior Taco. Have you been to Superior Grill in Baton Rouge? Because I know that
Baton Rouge and Shreveport and New Orleans.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been to all of them. Yeah. Okay. So they have a $20 margarita, which is insane. And I was like, who pays for that? But that place was packed, and there was a lot of people paying.
And it's in styrofoam cups. So, it's not melting.
Really?
So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Or you can ask for it.
Yeah, that's what the owner...
You can kind of do that anywhere.
Yeah, that's what the owner of Don Juan was telling me. Because he was like, our margarita is $7, and it's in a styrofoam cup. And he's like, theirs is $20. Like, that's what he was saying.
I know the Legends margarita comes in a styrofoam cup, but it'll mess you up.
Yes. Well, the rumor is that the Legends margarita is the La Fonda margarita.
Oh, really?
I've heard that rumor too.
Yeah, that's the rumor that I've heard. So the Superior in Shreveport is the original one.
Yes.
They have one in Baton Rouge and then one in Shreveport. And
There's
I've heard
2 in Baton Rouge now.
Oh, really?
I've been to the new one.
So,
it's on Highland Road.
So is it like because I know in Shreveport they have 2, but one's like a fancy steakhouse.
That's Superior Steakhouse.
Yes.
That might be a chain, but that has nothing. Are they related?
They are related.
I don't even think I knew that.
Yeah.
They have 3 for 1 on Wednesday nights. I don't know if they do that anymore, but when I was in PA school, that was supposed to go on Wednesday nights.
Oh,
but
my goodness.
I've been to Superior Grill there. The 2 in Baton Rouge, because one's on Government, the one's on Highland, and then the one in New Orleans was always like a party place at Mardi Gras.
They're insanely popular, like wherever you go, and it started in Shreveport, which is crazy too. Also, apparently, Wilford Brimley is a huge fan, and he donated a buffalo head.
I didn't get to see.
We didn't get to see the head.
And also, apparently, Marilyn Manson really liked.
Yes, so Marilyn Manson was living in Shreveport for like 2 years while they were filming a TV series that he was on, because Shreveport is like...
Oh, I know. When I was there, Ryan Gosling was at Superior Steakhouse one time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's what Chris J was telling us, is like all the Hollywood people hang out there too. But Superior Grill in Shreveport Bossier was Marilyn Manson's place. And he said that he was there probably like 2 or 3 nights a week.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah. And then we also learned that there's 63 Mexican restaurants in the Shreveport Bossier area.
I believe it.
Yeah. So we went to 8 taquerias. Like we went to 8 of them. And then, like I said, we're going through that. We're going to talk about that a little more in about a month, I want to say. Okay. But you and I guess we'll talk about tacos, but the interviews that we did, we really didn't talk about tacos. So it's really just going to be about Shreveport Bossier, hot water cornbread.
Yes.
Because that's what we talked to Jada about. And yeah, so that'll be fun. Joining tonight as guest co-host is Liz Newton-Smith. She is with the Vintage Fork. I love these Instagram follower guest co-hosts that I get. It's been working out really great. Whenever I do it, I put a call out on Instagram every now and then when I'm looking for a new guest co-host, and she volunteered.
Thanks for having me.
So thank you so much. All right, so tell us a little bit about your blog.
So I have an Instagram, so it's the Vintage Fork, and then the vintageforkblog.com. I guess I came out with a few months ago. Not a ton of posts yet, but it's really like all about my love for food and travel. So I like to cook all day, every day, but I have another job, of course. But so yeah, I just kind of document my recipes and just my failures and my success. But yeah, it's so great.
Yeah. Speaking about your love of cooking, like we've been talking about that nonstop since you got here. And then also you work in the medical field and I work in the medical field. So we were also discussing that as well. I love when my guests have both food and medical knowledge. Yeah. So like talk about both.
I know. So I'm a physician assistant by day. And then I cook during the day and at night, and I could stay up till midnight, but I got to go to bed so I could wake up the next morning and see patients. So.
Right. Okay. So I made a cauliflower Alfredo this week.
I saw that. It looked so good.
And I was a huge fan of it. I said, I don't think I'm going to ever make regular Alfredo. And I guess the purpose of it is to make it vegan if you're vegan. I did not make mine vegan because I added milk and Parmesan cheese. But if you're doing it vegan, you would do like a vegetable broth or like a nut milk, and nutritional yeast is what you could use instead of
I've used that a few times.
I have never used it.
Yeah, I have
yet.
a jar in my cabinet right now. It's really good on kale, like if you're putting it in the oven, or like broccoli.
I heard it was good on popcorn too.
Oh, I haven't done that. I'm gonna try that.
Like it was good. It was gonna. Have you had it before, Bob?
What is it?
Nutritional yeast.
I have no idea.
So I heard it was good. Beer? Is it beer?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, then it's not a yeast that I've ingested.
I don't really know what it is, to tell you the truth.
I don't know what it is either. But when Daphne Olivier came on, who's the unconventional dietitian, I said, "Man, I've heard it's good." She's like, "I wouldn't necessarily call it good, but it's like it's a cheese substitute." Yes. That is used a lot of times in vegan food.
It's kind of like flaky.
Yeah, and it's got like that umami, I guess, flavor, like that's supposed to be similar to cheese. So, okay, this is how I did mine. I boiled cauliflower. I sauteed onions and garlic in olive oil. Once the cauliflower was boiled, I added the onions and garlic, like 3/4 of a cup of milk, and then Parmesan cheese to a food processor, salt and pepper as well, and then blended it. And then it was done.
It was like a thick consistency.
And it was really creamy. Okay. In fact, the leftovers, I probably could have added more milk to thin it a little bit because it was really thick. So the night that we made it, I did it with some Trader Joe's ravioli that we had gotten from when we had went on our trip to Houston. Mm-hmm. Bob had picked out cauliflower cheese ones.
Okay.
And so it was like cauliflower cheese ravioli with cauliflower Alfredo on top. Bob didn't tell me this the night of, but he said he found it to be bitter. And we don't know if was the Alfredo sauce or
the ravioli.
Because I took the Alfredo sauce, and then last night I had like these black bean noodles, and I did that with sausage, broccoli, and kind of just made like an Alfredo with it. And he didn't get that bitterness. No. So I'm wondering if it's the pasta.
Yeah, it's a good bet.
But it was
really good.
Yeah, and it made a ton. Like it makes like
it'd be a good pizza sauce.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, we have the we have the Trader Joe's pizza dough.
crust.
Yeah.
That is my favorite. Oh my gosh, the garlic and herb one.
Yes.
Is so good.
Whenever we go, I buy the 3 and freeze them. And then I'll just use them.
I make Trader Joe's hauls all the time.
Yes. Okay. You understand the love of Trader Joe's.
Anytime I'm passing through Baton Rouge, I'm like, I'm just going to exit here.
Yeah.
Pick up a few things.
Well, we started going so we go to the one in Baton Rouge, but we went to the one in Houston last time. And the advantage of that was that we could get Texas beer because I don't remember if the Baton Rouge one has this because I didn't really look at it, but they had a really good beer selection at the one in Houston, and there was a bunch of breweries in Austin that when we went to Austin that I didn't get to go to, and I was able to do a mix your own 6-pack and get some of the beer from the different breweries. So we decided that whenever I finish a semester of school, which I just finished, and I'll be starting again in 2 weeks. Theories of Psychotherapy is my next class. But anyway, we go to Trader Joe's to celebrate. So we went to Baton Rouge, and we're gonna go to we went to Houston. So we're gonna kind of alternate between the both.
Lafayette needs a Trader Joe's.
We do.
And everybody's like, y'all are next on the list. I'm like, who told you that?
Right.
Who made that?
That's been the rumor forever.
Yeah.
And someone also said that they don't think that it would do well in our market because we hoot and hollered for a Whole Foods, and the Whole Foods isn't doing the best in this market.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Whole Foods fan.
It's
I don't know.
It's an entirely different price point.
Absolutely, that's what I was about to say. It's affordable. I can't do a huge grocery haul at Whole Foods. I just can't. The outer aisles are great. The inner, I'm like, that's my husband's biggest argument.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I don't know. Man, I love Trader Joe's. I love it so much. Too. They need to send me gift cards.
Speaking of beers,
yes.
In Shreveport, we got to taste a few. I really from the Great Raft.
Yes.
And they have one reasonably corrupt,
which you can get here. They do have it here.
They do have it at the Worst also.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's a really good beer.
So Shreveport got a lot of cool things after I graduated from grad school. Because they didn't have the brewery and all those things when I lived there.
They have 3 breweries now.
And when I went back for somebody's wedding or something, I was like, wait, where are y'all going? I just
I wasn't
there.
Within the last few years, they've really upped their game. And I didn't realize that the bars in downtown Shreveport are open till 6:30 in the morning.
Chicky's Boom Boom Room. It's not there anymore, I don't think, but that's where we'd go after.
We went to Fatty Arbuckle's. We didn't stay nearly that long.
Yeah.
We left, I think, even before midnight. But Fatty Arbuckle's was a really cool bar. And it was really cool. It was the Red River District. And it's a street that's blocked off. It's just a walking street. And it's lined with bars and restaurants.
And then the casinos are right there too.
Yes.
And they just never close. So
right.
you just stumble your way over there.
Right. So it's you could literally party in Shreveport for 24 hours.
Absolutely. And people do.
That should be an upcoming blog post, 24 hours in Shreveport, Bossier.
The land that Uber forgot.
I know. That's what I was about to say. What in the world? I feel like there's a market for them there.
They're there.
They just
were they there? Because they weren't last time.
They just came, okay? And so they don't have enough drivers yet. And the drivers don't know their way around town.
They're probably coming in from somewhere else.
And
could be.
It was we got 2.
Yeah.
The last one was awful.
I used to take real sketchy cabs over there.
And I mean, he was just weird, but the lady was nice, but lost, they didn't, they could not find us. Yeah, they couldn't find us, and they said, everyone said it's relatively new. It is a little pricier. They said it was usually $13 one way, and I'm used to New Orleans being $2 or $3. Yeah. But I mean, also Shreveport Bossier is more spread out.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it makes...
Especially if you stayed at the Horseshoe, because that's in Bossier.
Yeah.
And then you're going downtown.
Yeah.
You're on another place.
So the Red River District, you have to cross the river to get there. Yeah. So it's you're constantly going back and forth. But it's fun, and I enjoyed it.
I think Shreveport gets a bad rap, because I didn't want to move there for grad school, and then I did, and I was like, wait, this isn't bad. The only bad thing is coming home. When I'd have to come home or go to New Orleans or something.
Yeah, because it is a little bit of a stretch.
Drive. Yeah. Especially when you have to study.
I actually dug it a lot. Yeah. It's a cool town.
All right, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Liz. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now, we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Bob Borel is joining as always.
Holla.
As a phone answer and witty banter.
Bring it on.
And Liz Newton-Smith with the Vintage Fork is joining tonight as guest co-host. I also need to clarify something. So Jack Binion's Steakhouse was the best restaurant quality steak that I've ever had, but my favorite steak is still prepared by my father. Just want to clarify that because I did get a text message.
Oh no, Jack Binion's blew my dad out of the water.
Okay, well you haven't had my dad's, so just wait.
I'm ready.
Just wait. Okay, we have a topic to talk about now that was very popular on the Lafayette Food Junkie Facebook page. I actually found it while I was scrolling through on Instagram. One of the people that I followed had posted it. So there is a James Beard nominated restaurant out of Atlanta, and it's a sushi restaurant, and I'm about to pull it up here and find the name for you. Let's see here. It's Sushi Hayakawa, which I probably butchered that, and I apologize. But they have a sign in the restaurant. They actually have two signs. So the first one says, perfume cologne notice. If you have arrived with a strong fragrance, please feel free to use our restrooms in the back to wash off. If you would prefer not to wash or are unable to do so, please let our host know and we will be happy to reschedule your reservation so you can return at your comfort. So the other sign says, no cell phone and gaming in this restaurant. Please enjoy the food. No respect, no manners, no service. Thank you for your cooperation. And I kind of just posted it with and asked people their thoughts. So what are y'all's thoughts?
I think the go to the bathroom and wash up or leave is like so beautifully passive aggressive. Like hats off to them.
I agreed with part of this statement. I agreed with the devices part of it.
Yeah.
I did not agree with the perfume part whatsoever, and I thought that was incredibly pretentious.
Yeah, I guess
it's crazy.
Yeah, when I was in PA school, we always learned, I don't wear perfume anymore just because I can't wear it to work because I'm around sick people all day. So I guess I can see their point where it's coming from. But I've never had that problem at a restaurant where I'm like, somebody smells around me and I can't take the smell because I feel like you're kind of set apart from them. Mm-hmm. So I can see it either way. I don't know.
I wanted to know backstory. I wanted to know if somebody in the restaurant has a severe allergy and and I was like, how much of a problem is this? And then when I first read it too, I felt like it was a little culturally insensitive because not every culture bathes every day, and some of them up the cologne or bath or essential oils or something to kind of mask that. Yeah. And I was like, where is this going? Where is this coming from? And then I was just like, are you doing this just to kind of be cocky and to kind of have this buzz
or some publicity? Yeah.
Right. And because you're James Beard nominated restaurant. And then I was kind of like, well, where does the cutoff end? If you're going to say you can't do this, where does that cutoff end?
I
guess it's their restaurant, so I guess they can say whatever they want to say. If people are still going to eat there, then hey, more power to you. But
that's a point as well. So I did post this on my private Facebook page and then on the Lafayette Food Junkie page. Most people agreed with it and were like, thank God. People that have really strong perfumes are really aggravating. Some people mentioned very severe allergies and having asthma attacks from it. And then on the private side, one of my friends that commented did say that they worked in a restaurant where they've had to move guests before that were offended by someone next wearing strong smelling things. But at the same time, another friend of mine said, well, who gets to say
if it smells good,
if it's too strong or not? He said, I feel like it should be several people in the restaurant that has to say something in order for to be moved or
there's got to be some backstory behind it. I've never seen that before anywhere. So
it kind of brought up the point of who gets to decide. that, and then what else are they going to say like you can't do in a restaurant? So if you guys want to call and weigh in, Bob is answering the phone lines. It's 232-1542. So that's the perfume side, and that's the side that I like wholeheartedly disagreed with. But the other side of it was the electronic side, which I kind of agree with. I kind of see the point of that. But on the flip side of that, and I mentioned this to one of my followers, you know, if you are a parent and you're out on the town, like, you want to be able to check your phone in case something happens.
Yeah, or like I'm on call for work. And so like I got a call right before I came in over here. Like if a patient calls after hours, somebody has to be there to answer the phone.
Right. So that's the other side of it as well. I was like, you know, I said, there's got to be, you know, then again, it's like, what is the thing for that? One of my followers were saying that there's a restaurant in Houston that every time you check your phone, they add 5% to your bill.
Really? Well, yes. I was listening to, I think it was Dak Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert. And I think he was talking to Jason Bateman. They were in another country and he didn't realize, and he took out his phone. And apparently in that country, it's completely taboo. And like people like came up to him and was like, no. And like it was a big deal.
Yeah. Like I totally have to respect that. Like I respect that. But at the same time, I was like, if you're a parent, I see that point. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of kids at the table with the tablets, but again, I'm not a parent.
I was going to say, I don't have kids, so I don't have anybody.
You know, if I was a parent, like I may feel completely different about that. You know, so
I have friends that swore they would never do it, and they do, and like, you know, they didn't have kids at the time, and now they do, and it's like, if your kid's screaming, they'd rather them quiet,
right? And yeah, so it's like. It was so interesting to me because it was like so many people had different views on it. But the majority of people kind of agreed. Like they were like, thank you for that or whatever. And then my other point to that was too, like, I don't know. I feel like that was so pretentious. Like I want to know what the backstory is. Maybe I'll do some more research and see if I can find that out there. But it's just, it's like, where does it end? Like, where does it end for that? So if you guys want to call in, Bob's on the phone with somebody right now, and we can do it before we go to break. What did the caller say?
It was a gentleman by the name of Andrew. He said that whenever he's around strong cologne or perfume, he actually gets migraines.
See, and I've heard that, and I'm going to be honest, like I've had instances where I've been around strong perfume and it's given me a migraine.
Yeah.
And it's like I see both sides to where like if I'm dining out and I've paid money, like you want to have a good night, and if you, I mean, how much cologne or perfume does that person have?
But some people are really sensitive to smells, so like maybe like their nose is just real good. You know?
I mean, there's also the side of there's always a story behind a sign. Mm-hmm. So there might be like somebody that comes in just drenched in it, or there might be somebody that comes in and plays like games on their phone with the volume turned all the way up.
Right, and that's completely rude. Like I wholeheartedly agree with that aspect of it. I'm with you in that I felt like the sign was very passive aggressive and snarky.
It could have been another way to say it.
It could have been like way more like, you know, out of respect for our any fellow diners that may have an allergy. Like it could have been worded so much better. I feel like they were kind of being
but look what we're doing. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, now I want to get it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it was
butts on purpose.
It was much more like the first draft of an email that you write.
Right.
And then you're like, no, let me reel it in.
Because it's just like, and it's like I get the restaurants that like don't want you to take pictures of their food and like don't want you to be on your phone. Like I agree with that. You should be eating and experiencing all that. Right, and I am too. And if I was dining at a place that were like no cell phones, totally okay.
Absolutely.
Like I would, you know, I have no problem with that. The perfume thing, though, it's kind of like, okay, do you have a perfume smeller like at the door when you walk in and they smell you to see if you're approved?
Do they follow
to come
you in the
restaurant?
bathroom to
do
make
they
sure
then
that you
ask
wash?
you to go to the bathroom to wash off? That's kind of rude and humiliating in a way as well. It's like, how much do I want this sushi? Like, how good is this sushi restaurant? That's what I also want to know.
It's probably really good.
I mean, it's good. They're James Beard nominated, so they must be like an amazing restaurant. But
I mean, just because they got nominated by somebody with a beard doesn't mean they all that.
Right, exactly. All right, we're going to take another break. Feel free to call in 232-1542. Weigh in on does heavy perfume or cologne bother you at a restaurant and the electronic device? We'll be right back.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Bob is on the phone right now with somebody that called in to weigh in on the topic about the perfume and the electronic devices and restaurants. And Liz Newton-Smith with the Vintage Fork is joining tonight as guest co-host. All right, he just wrapped up that phone call. So what did the caller have to say?
I spoke to a gentleman by the name of Russ who weighed in on both sides.
Okay.
Pretty well put together too. It was that the perfume, that it basically can just overpower your palate, and that it ruins any sensitivity your palate has.
Someone did have that point as well on the Facebook page.
And he mentioned on the gaming devices that restaurants are in the business of turning over tables. If somebody's sitting there playing a game, that's not going to turn over as quick.
Also, an incredibly valid point, and a problem that many a restaurant has had with people on their cell phones is because they're longer at the table and it's taking them longer to eat.
I've never thought of that, but
yeah.
I didn't think of that at all.
That's not the first time I've heard that, but it is an incredibly valid point. So
well, thank you, Russ.
Yeah, thanks for calling in and weighing in. Okay, we're going to talk about other non as controversial things as that, but you guys can feel free to keep calling in 232-1542. Bob's going to be answering the phone lines on that. Cajun Saucer opened up this weekend at Bayou Teche Brewing. It is their very own in-house pizza.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, and it's it's oven wood fired. So excited. They posted the pictures this weekend. It looked delicious.
I was just looking at them on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry, and I had pizza at like midnight last night. So
yes, Bob and I think maybe heading out there next weekend to check it out and see. They don't have any new sours on tap, but I'm sure they still have old sours.
I haven't been there. I need to make it a trip.
It's really cool. It is a little bit of a drive, but
where's Bayou Teche?
Bayou Teche is in Arnaville.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a drive, but it's really nice, and it's like quiet. And they usually have like bands and stuff playing on the weekend.
And now they have food.
Yeah,
like, that's awesome.
And they had like they were having food trucks there for a while too. But yeah, they have the pizza there now, which I'm like, yes, I will go to have pizza and beer.
Yeah, of course.
He was like, perfect combination. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I still insist that if you eat pizza without beer, it's not pizza. It's something else.
It's just such a good combination.
Yeah.
Like crawfish and beer too. Like there's two things that go together.
And then I don't know how you guys feel about Boudin king cakes. I have never been a fan in the past.
Yeah.
Have you?
I have not had the honor.
You've never had one?
No.
Okay. In the past, I would say they were not that great.
I've had one. I cannot remember where it was from. And then I attempted to make one with like biscuit dough or crescent rolls or something. It turned out pretty good, but I want to hear about this one.
I felt like the ones that I've had in the past had very little Boudin and they were super like thin. This one that I had this past week was from Cajun Market Donut Company. Yum. And it changed my mind. This was huge. It was almost like stuffed bread. So it's like stuffed bread king cake. Huge amounts of Boudin. It had pepper jack cheese.
That's what was on top
as
of
well.
It,
so inside it had Boudin and pepper jack cheese.
Okay.
And then on top it had bacon and then pepper jelly.
I mean, you could wrap my shoe in bacon and I'd eat it.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
So it was so freaking good. I'm like trying to diet now, and I was like doing it.
It's on the diet today.
Yeah. I was like, it is on the diet today. It was so good. If you guys have not had one from there, I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's something that you can just go and pick up or if you have to special order it. I would think you would have to special order it.
Now I'm trying to think of the next party or something I'm going to. I need to order one.
For football.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, for Super
We'll be
Bowl.
tailgating next week. So
yeah.
Maybe I'll bring that.
Did they shove a cracklin in it? And whoever gets the cracklin has to buy the next one?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
That was not in there. That reminds me about one of the taquerias that we went to.
Oh, yeah.
They do Mardi Gras taco king cakes, taco king cakes.
Like soft taco?
Yeah, it's like street tacos, and it's just like they do it, and it's like a king cake. And he was talking about, he asked if like they still put the babies and the king cakes here, and I was like, they put them on the side, they don't really put them in, but he was talking about maybe doing something like that with the taco
like
king
a little
cake.
sombrero.
Yeah, maybe
like
so.
A little fondant baby.
Yeah, man, and he does. So they do the king cakes, and then they also do the hearts for Valentine's.
Oh,
tacos.
that's so sweet. That would be what I would want for Valentine's Day.
Okay, Boudin King Cake, Cajun Market Donut Company. Go and get it. Also, a new bagel and sandwich stand is opening October 6th at the farmer's market at the horse farm. It's 114 Bagel Company.
I am so excited about this.
Yeah, and the guy that's doing it is Mark Whitney, who has been a guest co-host on the show numerous times. He started making bagels because he was not happy with the bagel selection in town, and he's setting up shop at the farmer's market. So I'm excited for him, and I wish him luck.
I love a good bagel and cream cheese.
I miss Bixby's Bagel Company so
I don't even know
bad in town. So back when I was in high school in Lafayette, they had a Bixby's Bagel Company, which I'm pretty sure was a chain.
Okay.
And it was the first place that I also had. This was also before we had coffee shops in town. It was my first place I had a Cafe Mocha from was there. And I would go and get a whole wheat bagel with hummus because I was like healthy vegetarian child at the time. And then a Cafe Mocha.
Is that the one in Time Plaza?
Yes, it was the one in Time
Plaza.
That place
was really good.
Yeah. So, and they made sandwiches, and you could do like different spreads on the bagels.
That sounds good.
Ever since then, like we've had a few places. Like we had a place called Thibodeau's for a while that was doing bagels, and then there's New York Bagel Company that's opening now. That's based. I think their original location is in Baton Rouge.
I don't know if that's their original or not, but I definitely used to eat there in college.
So that's another location. And then that's like been a big complaint from people that lived in other areas of the states that have really great bagels. That's one thing Lafayette doesn't have is bagels.
I know Panera Bread, do they still have bagels?
They have bagels.
Okay. They used to have this like honey cinnamon bagel, and I would get this walnut cream cheese with it. That was really good, but I haven't had that in years.
I love an everything bagel, and I love sesame bagels. Like I like the nuts on the bagel.
And Asiago, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that cheese baked in there.
Now I really want a bagel.
I really miss Bixby's now.
Yeah.
I planned many a D&D game there.
Really?
Yeah.
The girl, I used to always get it with the hummus, and the girl was like, do you know what's really good? You get it with the hummus, and then you add bacon to it, which now that sounds amazing to me, but at the time I was like, ew, no.
That sounds amazing.
But that sounds so good.
Anything with bacon.
Yeah.
Anything with bacon is good.
Do you know what's amazing to use as a dip for hummus that I did not learn about until I did keto, and now I still completely eat it? Pork rinds.
Yep.
As a hummus.
I've never done that. But I did go to a Mexican restaurant on Friday night in New Orleans, and they had pork rinds with the guacamole.
What?
And my friend didn't know what she had grabbed, and she's like, I don't want this. I was like, I didn't think you would. She was a dietitian.
That sounds
I was like, give
amazing.
it to me, I'll eat it.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's genius. Yep. Oh my God. Pork rinds with that guacamole from El Cabo Verde in Shreveport.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That was like...
I take pork rinds and put chicken salad on it.
Oh, that's also very keto.
Yeah, it was when I was in keto.
Yeah. That's like also... You can use a pork rind to dip for everything.
Yep.
I think the whole keto diet has like... added to the pork skin movement.
I'm like so intrigued by it. Like the keto diet, I don't really know a ton about it, but I like have been researching it. It is insane. Like,
I did it in the past, and he's done it before, and I lost a lot of weight. I can't do it now because with this, it's hard for me to not eat
to stay compliant
sugar or carbs.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, what's working now is I've started counting calories
and everything in moderation.
And so that's kind of like what I'm doing now. And I'll have like, once I make goal for the week, I'll have like a cheat meal and do it that way. But I'm not as satisfied as I was with keto because at least like I felt full, and this I feel like I'm starving all the time.
I went to visit a friend in Texas a few weeks ago, and she's on keto, and she legitimately ordered a steak and said, no rice and beans, just bring me a plate of butter to put on top of my steak.
Yeah.
And that is what she had. I was like,
that's
the waitress was like, a plate of cold butter. We can put it on top of the steak. No, I want it to melt on my steak. It's going to be so good. I was like, What are you doing?
Ooh, she got some guacamole on the side
We
to
had
like
guac, too. We had
dip it.
Yeah.
Oh man, see, that's making me miss this. But it's I can't.
You can't.
I like pizza. I've rediscovered pasta, which is something that I used to be able to not have at all.
Just
Sweets.
bread. I mean,
yes, bread is like if you get good bread, it's so good. So it's like I can't
or
do
rice.
it. Like
I
I
don't
can't.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And-
mean, rice and gravy. Like, how can you not?
Right, because cauliflower rice is awful.
I know. I know. I bought the ones from Costco to try, and like, no.
You have to fry it in bacon grease.
I was about to
and
say,
it's
I was like,
good.
I microwaved it. I was like, no. And then I was like, okay, let me add a ton of garlic, a ton of oil, and still wasn't that good.
No, when I was in keto,
But
I
I do eat it.
totally had separation anxiety from rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I do love me some rice.
All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, more with Liz. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
From Boudin to the best burgers Acadiana has to offer, it's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Bob Borel, as always, for witty banter and phone answering.
Holla.
And guest co-host tonight is Liz Newton-Smith with the Vintage Fork.
Hey, y'all.
Okay, so let's talk about the blog a little bit.
yeah.
So it's a recipe blog primarily.
Recipe, and then want it to be more travel too, but gosh, to write a blog post just takes me forever.
Yeah.
And so with work, I'm like kind of slacking, but I have a really good Austin one that I've done. I just have to hit submit. I haven't done it yet.
What are some places that you went to in Austin? Because we just got back from there.
Okay, let me think. Ranch 616. Have you been there?
No.
Really cool. They have really cool neon work. Like one of the neon signs outside is like original neon, which apparently is different than what neon is now. So the waiter gave us like a huge like history lesson in it.
Nice.
So that was really good. We had a place called Cannon and Bell. It was in, I think, the Hilton, but it was actually delicious. Like, I got a pizza, of course, because I love pizza. So good. And then we hopped on Rainy Street and did all the bars there. It was so cool. I was on a bachelorette party.
Nice.
So we did hit up 6th Street, but we went to Lake Travis too. So I cooked
cool.
some too. So
Okay.
when we went to Lake Travis, I did cook. I did like a pasta salad and I did sandwiches to bring on the boat. So that was perfect.
And I do want to mention, I got an email from one of my followers, Ryan Case, and he said, "My restaurant, I decide," for the topic of the perfume versus electronic
if
devices.
it's yours, you know.
Yeah. So, okay. So, last recipe that I noticed was posted was sweet potato nachos.
Yes.
So
that was trying to be a little healthier than like your regular nachos. Pretty easy. Just baked your sweet potatoes, and then I made like a little mixture with some ground meat. I think I did black beans, whatever you want, you know. Topped it, baked it. It was really good. Messy. I think the next time I do it, I'll just make a sweet potato and eat it on top of that.
I like sweet potatoes in a savory sense. I know that there's people out there that are not, they want them like with the marshmallows and nuts and cinnamon.
Like a Ruth Chris dessert.
Right.
Well, a side, sorry.
Right.
It's a side, but I want it as a dessert.
So they want like that, but I like to use it in
Me
a
too,
savory
like main
sense.
course.
Yeah.
So yeah, that. And then I did like a butternut squash soup recently that I've been promising to post the recipe on my website, which it's not mine. I got it from somebody else's and I can't even change it because it's that good. And it's in a slow cooker, so I know you'll like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's recipes and then like I said, I'd like to do more travel. I went to Hawaii last year on a 10-day trip and I would love to like write about it because I did so much research and planning for it and it was the best trip ever.
Did you have Spam?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing that I was like, okay, y'all, we have to get it at a gas station. I can't remember what it's called. It's like, looks like a sushi roll. And the people I was with, they're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm eating it. Like, we got to get it. So got it at I think a grocery store in the checkout line, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's their like dish.
There is a Hawaiian food truck in Shreveport, Bossier, and they do it every now and then. And then
I like it. It's
interesting
just
enough,
so good.
on next week's show, South Fin Poke is coming to Lafayette. The manager and owner is coming on the show to talk about it. And their locations in Baton Rouge have brunch, and one of the brunch was spam and eggs. And I was like, I want that.
Yeah, I'll order it for sure. But yeah, it was in a lot of stuff we had there though.
I can't believe it's so popular. That's
so popular.
It's like I ate that as a kid, and it was like embarrassing, and it's like such a guilty pleasure, like how much I really like Spam.
That and Vienna sausages.
No,
I feel like I feel like as a kid we would always have that.
Oh my god, we used to eat that too, and now I cannot.
I don't know the last time I've had Vienna sausage.
That's a thing that I can't do. Like that's a hard.
No, I cannot think of what it's called, but it's like rice, and it's a piece of Spam, and then it's got like sushi wrapping.
Yes,
like seaweed around.
I think it's something with an M.
For it.
It starts with an M. I
have a few things there that I've never had before or heard of before, like a Rubiton, like that fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really funky, and then you peel it, and it's, I guess, I don't even know. It's like clear. I've seen them now that I've had it there. Of course, I've seen them here, but it was just such a cool place. We did Kauai and Maui, and Kauai is like so deserted.
Oh, wow.
And it was a ton of like hiking. Thought my husband might have thrown me over a cliff, but then we went to Maui, and it was like so relaxing. It was great.
How long ago did you start your blog?
Well, I started my Instagram probably 2 years ago, and the blog, I feel like I launched it in like March or April.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay, so it's really new.
Yeah. But the Instagram food page has been there for like 2 years.
For a while. Mm-hmm. What are some of your favorite restaurants in the Acadiana area?
My favorite restaurant in Lafayette is Bread and Circus.
Yeah,
I was there Thursday night. And like their brunch, their dinner, they're just consistent with their food. Like I order different things on the menu and I love it. So now every time somebody comes to town and they want a recommendation, I definitely tell them there. I've been dying to go back to Blue Dog.
Since Ryan took over, I have to.
Been. I love St. Street Inn too. But gosh, I love pizza so much. I really think Bread and Circus has the best pizza in town.
You were talking about a dessert dish. It was like cookies and milk.
Yes, on Thursday night. It was cookies and milk, and it was this like bourbon cookie with marshmallow, chocolate chip swirl. It was so good, and it wasn't even hot when they brought it, but that was okay. Like, dipped it in the milk, then I drank the milk, and then I actually had the third cookie before I came over here. Well, like half of it, because somebody ate it whenever I was going this weekend, but it was really good.
I love them because their desserts are great, and you can do a dessert flight. So if you want to try more than one dessert, that you can get like 3 of the dessert.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Brilliant.
Bob, I need to take you there. Like it's their pizza
and it's cute
is
inside
so
too.
good.
But yeah, their pizza is just so good. The Norma pizza, like the one with the eggplant on it, is so good. And then the Speck and Mott's.
Oh man, and their hummus.
Oh my gosh,
it's like a hummus pot. It's like a pizza. Like so, the hummus appetizer comes out like it's on pizza crust, and then the hummus is in the middle.
It's like an eggplant hummus.
Yeah, and
it's
you pull apart the pizza crust and you dip it as you eat it. It is amazing.
So my favorite thing is to watch people order that
and then
not know that it comes. Like every single time I'm there, they're like, "Whoa, that's what we ordered." Yeah, it's so good.
It's insane. Oh my god! And Wednesday nights they have happy hour all night, so all the pizzas are half off.
And I think did they do happy hour like every day from
they
4
do
to
like 4 to 6
or something?
Yeah, from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
They do it. I haven't been there. They were for Juicy Lucy's anniversary, I think was the last time I went, and I got the Juicy Lucy on a donut. Not a fan of a donut burger, by the way.
I haven't
love the Juicy Lucy.
I love donuts, but I don't
not
think
a
I
fan
want
of it as a bun for a hamburger. Like not my thing.
No,
but yeah, they're good, and we should do late night next Saturday.
I haven't done their late night,
experience that.
They always post the menus, and it looks phenomenal.
I'm such an old lady that
I'm sleeping by that time.
A lot of times I am. Like a lot of times, like I'll wait and I'm waiting for them to post the menu to see if I want to go or not. And then it's like they don't post it, so I'm like, well, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And then they'll post it, and I'm like, oh man, that looks really good, but I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And I used to go every night. Like that's what I would do every Saturday night when they first started doing it. And it's like, I cannot even stay up that late ananymore.
I need to make a list and be like, that is one of the things I need to do is go to late night at Bread and Circus because I've been to every other meal there.
Yeah. God, man, we need to go out.
You need to go. Okay. You never been, you need to go.
Yeah. They have
so good. Their arancini is so good too.
Yes.
So good.
It's like rice balls that are fried and they're like cheese. So it's almost like an Italian version of a cheese stick.
And then it has it's like it's not mayonnaise because that grosses people out sometimes. But I love
it's like
mayonnaise.
An aioli.
Yeah, it's an aioli. It's so good that it's sitting on top of. And then I get the marinara too. So like kind of do a little mixture of the two. So good.
The bouillabaisse gnocchi is also
I haven't had that.
Delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Bob's like laughing because
I'm getting so passionate about this food. I'm so sorry.
We're like both like so like into this. I think we've just literally named the entire Bread and Circus menu.
Yes. I love you, Bread and Circus.
Like that's so funny. We need to go. So I want to go to Blue Dog, but the new menu is very seafood forward.
Okay.
And Bob's allergic to seafood. So like there's only like certain things that we can get. But I want to go because they're doing like a blue cornbread. And Bob's like obsessed with cornbread.
Are you obsessed with cornbread? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So my recipe for cornbread is to take a box of the Jiffy cornbread mix and a box of their yellow cake mix.
Oh, okay.
And then make them together.
So it's like a sweet.
It's a sweet cornbread. I don't know. Try it. And sometimes you can put a thing of cream style corn in it. So it's kind of got chunks of corn.
That might be something.
Maybe I'll make it
good.
before you bring it to you. But it is good. Yeah. Jiffy cake mix. Because nobody knows that Jiffy makes a cake mix. And then Jiffy cornbread mix. Mix them together. Yeah. Try it out.
Have to make it.
I will.
Bob tried hot water cornbread for the first time.
Yeah.
Up there. Like we were talking about it. And he was like, I want to try that. And so Chris took us to this restaurant called the Cotton Ball. I thought it was boil, and it's not. Or bowl, and it's not that. It's ball. It's B-O-L. Yeah. And it's like a little diner.
Yeah.
And he said,
I know what you're talking about. I saw your picture, too. It's like an older establishment, right?
And he said, like, it was amazing. We're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank y'all. Everybody can follow me on Instagram if you want more. The Vintage Fork.
All right. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. And this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening. And as always, happy eating, Acadiana.